Hello and a wonderful good afternoon from beautiful Austria. We are sitting quite next to the Alps here, which you can't see at the moment, but they are out there. Let me just introduce myself and my beautiful colleague over here.
Beautiful.
It is Henrik. I'm actually responsible for all sales activities at Metaroom, and I brought Luca, who is basically the team leader of all now basically it's
Product development.
Product development. So he's the head, I'm the face, I would say. No, just kidding. Again, welcome. We don't know where you guys are from all over the world. So if you would like to just quickly write down in the comments or chat where you guys are from. We are always interested to know to whom we are talking to all over the world.
How wide we are able to reach out there in the world.
Exactly. On the other hand, just as an intro, if you see me looking down there, I'm looking at the Q&A section or into the chat, because there might be some questions arising while we presentate Metaroom here. So every time you have questions, please drop them either in the Q&A section or in the chat. We will try to answer them during the webinar. If we are not able to do that, we're gonna take your questions with us, answer them in a kind of PDF and send it out to you right after the webinar, more or less.
All questions will be answered.
Yes, please. Don't be
the more the better.
Don't be shy to ask questions. We are not mentioning any names here. We don't want to blame anyone, but there are questions which are super important for you guys to know, which we might miss here somehow. But what did we bring for you during this webinar? I would say it is basically the essentials of scanning. So we brought several videos, short videos, which we're going to introduce to you in terms of how to scan a single room, how to scan multiple rooms right next to right after each other. We are showing you how to scan staircases, how to use the snapshot function, and.
We collected all your questions that you bring us every day, so and try to combine them into this webinar to give a good overview over our solution.
Yes, what we saw upfront is that there are some German speaking people in the webinar right now. You are more than welcome to join us for the webinar, but 1 hour ago we had the German version of what we just do or will do now. So if you are interested in rather watching the German version of it, just drop me a line. I'm going to send you my email address into the chat right now, and feel free to just write me an email and say that you want to have a look at the German version of the webinar, and I will send you the link right after we cut it. So let's see. It's Milton Keynes in England. It's Norway. It's Cambridge. It is Canada, working in the US, New York and London. Great. Yeah, thank you. Great to have you with us. I would say, since we are like super packed for 1 hour, we are starting right now.
Yeah. First, we give you again, so a lot of you might already know Metaroom and how it works, but we still want to give like a quick overview over our platform. So basically, it consists of 3 steps. First one is scanning with the Metaroom Scan app, which you can get in the iOS App Store. All that you need is an iPhone or iPad Pro, and then you're ready to capture your environments or your spaces.
Yeah, let's just discuss the theme which everyone, or the question which everyone asks afterwards. Is it just Apple Pro devices? Yes, it is. Unfortunately, we would say. We would love to work with other cell phones out there, Android, whatever it is. Which is not possible, since you might, if you are having an iPhone Pro, iPad Pro, what you know is that there is a sensor built in, which is called the LiDAR sensor. This is the one we need for our platform to do the depth measurement. So it's not that we are the biggest Apple fans in the world, maybe a little bit, but this is why we are building on top of those devices.
Exactly.
Sorry.
Second step. Optimize. So after you captured your space using the scan app, the data is uploaded to our cloud, and prepared and reconstructed for the Metaroom Workspace. So within the Metaroom Workspace, this is a web application, so you can use any web browser on any device you like. It's always available. And you can optimize your scans there. For example, you can take the model, rename rooms, add specific objects that you have been missing during scan it, or that you marked during scan using the snapshot feature, which we will cover later. You can basically look over the whole scan, and you get precise geometry and everything in an intelligent, let's call it like this, building model.
Exactly.
Last but not least, export. This is also done in the Metaroom Workspace. So we made a lot of effort in creating a lot of different export formats. So ranging from 2D plans to 3D models, CAD models, BIM models, and so on. So we have a lot of partners where we have a really good integration with, because we saw that having a good interface to those software packages always helps, and is also necessary to be able to use the scan data the best way possible.
Exactly, because what we learned, especially in the last 2 years or past 2 years, is that for you guys working with IFC models, IFC is being called out as standard out there, which we think everyone is far away from that. So
good joke.
Yeah, what we did is we are building or
tailor make.
We tailor our IFCs for our partners out there to have a 100%
working model
interface. Exactly. On top of that, I just took over from you. Sorry.
On
top of that, there is underestimated exports. We have like simple PDF floor plans or even Excel files where we put in all our data. So either if it's to write your quotes, if you are a painter and it's about square meters, square feet, square foot, square whatever, you get all the dimensions out there pretty fast, copy and paste it into your quoting tool. And then you are way faster than today, hopefully. Having said that, no questions so far. So we explained the platform in a good way. But
very quickly.
Exactly. Let's jump over
to our first use case. So covering the scanning.
So starting from zero, how to scan a single room.
That's the easiest scenario that we can think of. So how we do there. So basically you start in the Metaroom scan app, click the plus button to add a new scan, and you're already starting it. So at the beginning we have a short initialization phase where you just move the device around and follow the on-screen instructions. And then you're already seeing those white lines, which are an indication of what has already been captured. Side note here, they don't 100% fit to the elements you might see, but this is not a problem. This is just an indicator that should help you recognize what you already captured and what not.
I'm just trying to find a good example here where you might see, this is a good one. If you take a look at the table to the left here, you will see that those white lines don't match the edge of the table 100%. But this is okay, because
don't worry.
Yeah, exactly. The real measurements will take place in the reconstruction. It's just a visual statement of, okay, you captured that object in this moment.
Exactly.
Same goes for the little, what we see down here, the 3D model, which we call Puppet House. What you see there is the walls and boxes in terms of being the table. Don't be afraid. It's just a visual help again. It will be turned into tables and chairs and cabinets in or during the reconstruction.
Exactly. So what you can see here already is you can move around the room freely, and we also suggest to do that. So don't just walk into the room, make one swift motion from left to right and capture the room like this, but really go into the room, capture the objects and different parts of the room from different perspectives, because this helps a lot in accuracy, as well as the result that you can, or the data that you can work on later in Metaroom Workspace.
Exactly. After having finished that section, like the first room, what you get is a first overview of what you just scanned. What you see here is that cabinets already turned into cabinets, same for tables and doors and windows. This is the point where you really should be like looking at what you just scanned to make sure that everything you need is in there. All walls are correctly, everything you wanted to capture is captured. Because from here, we are pretty much done if you just want to scan one room. We could finish it, send it to the cloud. It's going to be reconstructed 2 minutes after. You're going to have the done 3D construction in the Metaroom Workspace. So again, just a few bullet points. The preview, white lines and dollhouse, right? So don't be too distracted from there. It's just a visual statement. Move freely around the room, capture all relevant details. The better you scan, the better the result. And then review the section. From here, as we just said, 2 possibilities: finish the scan, or, and this is the most interesting thing, because this is how we scan whole floors or even whole objects. Because we are counting or scanning in sections. Every section is basically a room, I would say.
That's a rule of thumb, at least. Yeah.
Exactly. So having scanned the first room, what we can do now, we just hit the plus button and add sections with other rooms or hallways, whatever it is, which is basically the next video.
Yes. So let's go to the next more complex scenario, multi-room.
So what you want to achieve is what you see in the preview already. We scanned the first room, we want to add another one. So what we are doing, we are pressing the plus button. What you see here is like the first room we scanned already. We didn't want the video to be too long. We are mostly done with our first room. We captured everything we needed. And then we are hitting the pause button or stop button.
The finish section. So we finished the first section. And then in the review screen, again, we check if the model is complete, if we didn't miss anything. And if everything is fine, we add another section by clicking on the plus button. The next mode tells us to move to the new location where you would like to start the new section, which is in the next room, so the room next to this one. What we already see here is a scenario that occurs quite often. You end up before a closed door. So how to master the situation? Basically, what you should not do, maybe let's explain it like this. What you should not do is point the scanning device or the smartphone at the door and move it at the same time. This will mess up your result, basically. What you should do instead is what we see here in the video. Point the device towards the room, holding it in one hand, and with the other hand, with the free hand, you open the door and leave the room like this.
Exactly. And why is Luca saying that? Because, having a bit of background knowledge here is that there is not only the scanning process running at this point of time, it's another process running at the same time, which basically creates a map of your surroundings. So this is why we afterwards know in which relation the rooms stand to each other, basically.
Yeah.
So let's just move forward.
Let's continue here.
Sorry for stopping again.
No
we
worries.
are moving into the next office, which is right next to the one we just scanned. Going in there, hitting the start section button, and basically do the same magic like we did before.
Yeah, so capturing a single room is always the same. So you start in a corner, for example, walk around the room, follow the boundaries of the room, try to capture windows and all objects in it as good as possible from different perspectives. And yeah, that's basically it. And as you can see in the video, it's very fast. A room like this, you can scan it in a minute and get a good result.
Exactly. So we are mostly done with the room. Again, what we are doing in a few seconds is
hit the finish section button.
Exactly.
I took that away from you.
Yeah. There we are. So by hitting the finish section button, what we see is that those 2 rooms are already stitched together again, as we call it, in the app. And by doing that scheme of scanning, we could do the whole floor now, room by room, hallway, and. This is how you add sections, not only, let's say, horizontal, but even through different levels.
Yeah, vertically. So you can start scanning the first floor and then go on to the second floor and add that one as well, and everything will be combined in one model.
And this is actually why Luca is the brain behind everything, because I'm not even able to like spell the word horizontal. So coming from here,
you're learning, Henrik.
Coming from here, again, 1 section per room. Switch between rooms using the relocate mode. This is what we just saw. So basically, the app tells you what to do in every
Side note
step.
here, never cover the camera during any part of the scanning, because the device always needs to track the environment.
Exactly. So what happens often is that you are together in an object, in a room with the client, with the customer itself. They talk to you, you get distracted, and sometimes you just forget that you are scanning. You are like moving your cell phone around, or you're putting your hands in front of the sensor and the cameras, or even worse, you put it on the table like that. Then it could lose its tracking because it doesn't see anything anymore, like blindfolded. Same goes for, and this happens to some of us every time, putting it into your back pocket, which will end up not being good.
While talking about the topic, what you shouldn't do during scanning, also leaving the app or getting phone calls or whatever, try to avoid that, because this really mess up your data, but more on that later.
Which brings us to a point which we would have on a slide later on anyways, but the app is able to be used in flight mode, and what is the other mode?
Do not disturb.
Do not disturb mode. So rather go in flight mode or do not disturb mode before you start scanning, because then you won't get distracted by phone calls, by messages from Microsoft Teams or WhatsApp, whatever it is.
Other notifications.
Or your wife is calling, telling you have to bring some bananas from the supermarket, whatever it is. I can tell you.
Yeah, that's all what happens to us all the time.
I can tell you some stories there. So rather go in flight mode and take your time, because after that, if you are going back into a good network, just open the app again, and then everything in the queue will be uploaded automatically.
Mm-hmm.
Good.
After this quick excursion, just a reminder again. So we work in sections. Rule of thumb: 1 room, 1 section. You can add as many sections as you want to a scan.
Good.
Next scenario.
Small rooms. Something we have been asked for a lot of times, because what happens in small rooms is basically that you are standing too close to the wall. It's going to tell you have to move further away, no farther away.
It's really challenging for the phone to track the environment in such locations.
Exactly. Any one of you having been with us for some time or having tried the app already, you might have found a button in the settings which is called Enable Tracking Assistant. So what we built in a few months ago is a helpful feature which is called Tracking Assistant. It's going to help you in terms of, it's going to tell you if tracking is not good by coloring the screen in red, orange, and green. But I think the easiest way is like to show the video.
To show it here. So we're all about like giving you on-screen instruction and helping you at the moment that there are problems, and that's where the Tracking Assistant really helps. So in this case, we saw it popping up very quickly while we were scanning quite close to a basically completely white wall. Here the device, just as background, has problems in detecting its movement based on the environment. So that's why the Tracking Assistant is ringing the alarm and saying, hey, wait a second, I need to catch up, and then you can continue. Here we have a second case where the Tracking Assistant is basically letting you know that there is a problem with the tracking in this corner. So something is off, it lost its tracking, so it's not, in this case, we need to move the device in a way that it is able to regain tracking, is able to get a hold on the environment again. And what we see here in this case is just stopping doesn't help to solve the problem. And that's when you get the second message that you should return to a part of the room, for example, or of the section that you're just scanning that you already scanned, because we know that there the tracking already worked. In this case, we go back to the beginning of the scan, so where we have this radiator here in the corner, and we see the tracking basically regains itself, or heals itself.
Sorry.
And we are good to go. We can finish the section, and also to note here, also the parts that have been scanned during this red status, so when the tracking had problems, they are still captured.
Yeah, so measurements are still there. You won't miss anything or lose anything at this point. But coming from a small room to an even smaller room is even more challenging. So what we see here, By the way, Luca did the scan himself. So what we see here, that Luca is moving into a corner where there is a bit more of context, having the tiles, having the, I'm still missing the English word for the brush.
Brush,
Is
toilet
it
brush.
Is it the toilet brush? So there's a bit more of context for the app to know, and this is a good starting point to capture the first, I would say, measurements. And what we see afterwards is that when we are moving around,
the device gets into problems. Like we already also see the message, move farther away.
Yeah.
But what we do here to capture this small room is just continue to scan it, like in the same speed we would have scanned it otherwise. And we will find in between some parts where the tracking regains or gets stable again. The important point at the end, we go back to a stable position. So we always need to go back to this stable environment places.
Yeah.
And then we are able to get a good scan, the same as if we didn't have those tracking problems.
I think the easiest way to explain it is if the app is looking into a basically just white wall, is like the same for skiers and snowboarders. If they without goggles look into the white snow for like several minutes, it's what is it called? White out, I guess.
Yeah.
And this is the same what happens to the app. So it needs more context, like of different edges.
Exactly. And this is also a good example why the tracking assistant can help you master challenging situations, because what would happen if you don't have the tracking assistant enabled? You scan, you don't notice that the device is having problems tracking the environment, and at some point you lose the tracking completely.
Exactly. And then the result won't be good and you will be unsatisfied, and then you're gonna call me, I'm gonna call Luca, and you know.
And I will tell Henrik,
exactly,
the tracking assistant needs to be enabled, and Henrik will tell you that you should enable it.
Exactly. It is basically what we in Germany call the devil's circle. There's like basically two questions already. I want to take the one with me right now, and the other one will explain itself on a few slides. While scanning, do we have to close the doors? I would say yes and no. I mean, having like what we just showed you in small rooms, it's super challenging. In some edge cases, it is better to open the door and like start scanning in front of the small room and going into the room. In normal sized rooms, we would always say close the doors. Because why is that? Because if doors are open and you scan over it, it could be that it's captured as an opening instead of a door. It will always detect the door because of the door handle and the hinges and stuff. But if you leave a door open, it will be reconstructed as an opening only, and you might miss the door somehow.
Exactly. But yeah, so it's better to close them, except for small rooms where you need to scan from the outside, because you cannot, for example, walk into the room, like some very small storage rooms that are full with stuff or whatever.
Exactly. Good. Next one.
Large areas. Another interesting topic. So you remember the rule of thumb, one section per room?
Yes.
In this case, this won't work.
Exactly. Because either if you have, let's say, super large rooms, which are 100, 200, 300 square meters, which could be small, missing the English word again for Lagerhaus.
Halls, industry halls.
Industry halls, whatever it is, which I can relate to a question which just popped up. Can we do multi-floor house? It is basically it could fit in here as well, because the answer is yes, we can do multi-floor house and we can do big spaces. Against the rule what we just told you, every room is one segment. We do it still in segments, but even in those larger areas, we do like several sections.
You just split basically this large area into multiple sections.
Exactly.
And you capture them one by one, and they will be combined into a large model again.
Yeah, I think it's long story short. If we show the video, everyone will
understand.
So basically what we tell people, or what we told people the last 2 years, is that one section could capture 100 to 120 square meters, but environments are differently, you know. It's basically about data. So even in a small room, if you, instead of walking just around one time, you run around 5 times, there's more data being captured. And then the app could say, hey, you're running into a device, into a storage limit. That's
why we have you covered here. So basically, as soon as you run into those data limits, we will let you know, or the app will let you know.
Exactly, because what we just see here is we already scanned a big part of our kitchen in our office, what you see down in the Puppet House. And now we forced the app to run into a storage limit. And then the app even helps you here by telling you
that we are approaching basically the resource limit for this section. So the device is basically full of data. It cannot capture much more. It can capture a little bit more maybe, but we're already approaching the limit. And it tells you to go back to the start of your previous section, finish that section, and start a new one.
Exactly.
Because as we learned before, you can add as many sections as you like in a scan.
And again, this goes both horizontal and vertical. So multi-floor is no problem.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. We go back to the start of the previous section, check the model, everything was fine. We are in the relocate mode now, add another section and start scanning where we ended before. Yeah, and just continue.
Exactly. So we are able to even add multiple sections in bigger rooms halls without having walls as a room, basically.
As a delimiter or border for different sections. That also means that, for example, a section doesn't need to be a whole room. If you just need to scan 2 or 3 walls because you want to install a kitchen or whatever, just scan those 2 or 3 walls. You don't need to capture the entire room. Maybe the entire room is interesting for the future because of your use case, but if you don't need it, you don't need to capture it.
Exactly. We just had that question in a German webinar 1 hour ago from a kitchen builder who says, I'm not interested in the whole room. I actually just want like a corner, like with 2 walls. No problem at all. Just scan it and see what the outcome is.
Mm-hmm. Again, here, like continuing to scan, we hit the section limit notification once more. In this case, we know we don't have much more to scan. It's just a few square meters more. And that's why we continue capturing this section, and it will be added to the complete model. There is also a second warning, which we don't have in the video here, I just noticed, which will tell you now really the limit is reached. If that shows up, please follow it and go straight back to the start of the section, because in that case, it could happen that some parts are not captured correctly.
Yeah, but then basically it shows that those white lines won't appear anymore.
Exactly.
In the most of the cases. So you will see if nothing is being captured anymore. So what we see here is our hallway and like the open spaces, which is around, I would say, 250 square meters, which we did basically in two sections.
But as a reminder, so you can never have too many sections.
We're gonna see it in the bullet points.
Yeah. So we could have also chosen to have 3 sections here. For example, one here in the kitchen area, one for the hallway, and another one for this entrance area.
Yes. We would always, if you ask us, always go for rather do one section too much than too less. Yeah. Because running into limits is always not a good sign. Rather make it more sections. Great. What we see here, and we named it Don't Panic, because what can happen is if you basically, or for example, run too fast through a room. What we see here is a good example. You see that it's open walls here. It didn't close the wall because there is not enough data through the point cloud, or even here it's open.
So if something like this happens,
relax. We're gonna cover you here as well, because there are 2 options of repairing it basically. So one option could be, if it's like a piece of wall missing, we just press the add section button again and maybe just scan over that missing piece of wall again. Because there we go. So what we do here, we just scan that piece of wall again, as I just mentioned, and then it will be closed again. And by just stopping the section right now, what you see, the wall over there is closed again, because we're going to overwrite the old data with the new data.
Or like we add in the missing data, and it will be used to reconstruct the whole wall.
Yes. In case of that, a segment, let's just pretend you are scanning a whole floor and you are already in the 15th room. And then you see that your last section is totally
I know what you want to say, but
it's totally not
it's,
good.
it's messed up.
It's messed up.
Like
Then
you get wrong walls, a lot of missing objects, and so on.
exactly. Then you always have the option to rescan the last section. So if this is the 15th section, then just rescan it and it will delete the 15th section and you can overwrite or rescan it again.
Exactly.
It is always a matter of how messed up is the scan. Is it just a piece of wall missing? Do just scan over with another section. If it's the whole room, rescan with the whole or rescan the whole section.
Exactly, and that is what we see here. So in this case, we chose rescan and we capture the whole room again. And you will see in a moment in the result that we captured all walls now. We did a proper scan. Yeah, we're already at the end. And yeah, our model is good again.
Exactly. So what we try here is to give you help at any point of time, either if you're too close to the wall, too far away from objects to scan them. If you have problems with sections or missing pieces, there's always help somewhere. Great. So a question which we've been asked a lot of time when it comes to doing measurements with windows, doing measurements with special objects which are of interest for you, which could be either cabinets, which could be windows, doors, whatever it is. Again, the better you scan it, the better the result. If you just hover over a window, it might have close measurements, but not what you want. What we are showing here is how to really scan, for example, a window to get everything captured after that, and like have the best possible measurements in this case.
The best possible accuracy for this window.
Sorry.
I'm gonna start the video. So for the example of the window, we are trying to capture the window sill in this case as frontally as possible. So as frontal as possible, and we really go around the window. The window frame is important here, not so much the glass, because due to technological limitations of the LiDAR sensor, the measurements will just go through the glass.
Exactly. And what you see here, Luca is really running around
the perimeter or the border of the window, so
exactly,
the window frame.
From every border of the wall basically fitting into the window.
Also here a good example that we can see. So the white lines might not always match perfectly to the environment. No worries here, the final model will contain the proper result afterwards.
And since we were afraid of doing this scan, we really measured it by hands afterwards. And what we saw is that the width of the window was exactly the same like it is in reality, and the height was
I think half a centimeter
off. Exactly. And this is what we see in the limits. Great. Again, scan from different angles, boundary surfaces, window sills, and as Luca mentioned, do not scan the glass or like directly through the glass, because the LiDAR laser will measure through it basically.
Yeah.
Goodie.
Next topic.
Next one, staircase.
Staircases.
This is where Luca is in boss mode.
So also before we start, one important information: if you're trying to capture whole buildings, start from the bottom and go up the building. So this always also helps with staircases. So staircases should always be scanned from bottom to top. To show you how this works, it's not complicated. It's explained in a few steps, but it's always easier if you see it. So in this case, imagine we captured this floor, we finished the last room, and then we move to the staircase. In this case, we cross this door in the relocation mode, and then when we are ready, we start the next section in the staircase. What we do first is we capture the walls and the environment in the lower floor or in the lower level. In this case, we turn around a little bit, capture all the walls, the door, and the staircase geometry basically. And next, in the same section, we will walk up the stairs and pan a little bit to the left, to the right to capture the walls. Watch out here for the steps, so don't focus too much on the scanning, but don't forget that you're still walking up the stairs. We don't sell any helmets. but we
No.
could in future.
Even
for stair scanning.
even if you might think, what is he talking right now? We saw people like watching the cell phone too much and like falling over the stairs. So
But this also happens sometimes with furniture. So
it does. It does.
No.
Always take care of your surroundings.
Exactly. So we walk up to the next level in this case, and then we stop the current section, which will bring us to the review screen. What you see here now is we have the lower floor captured here together with the staircase, but the walls are extending into the next floor. That's why the next step in the capturing of the staircase is to add a second section on the new level.
Makes sense.
This is very important. Start the new section on the next level, so on the second floor in this case, or the sixth floor in this case. And we start capturing again the walls and the surroundings of the staircase. Turn around, finish this this small room or this small section, and hit the finish section button. And in the review screen now we can see that the two floors have been separated, and that there is a placeholder model with these 5 steps that should indicate the dimensions of the stair. So what we cannot do at the moment is to automatically recreate the stair in high detail, but we just can show you the basic dimensions. So what is the width, what is the height? But in the single, so more precise data is captured in the background, and you can make use of it or remodel the stair in a higher detail in Metaroom Workspace as well.
If you need to. Because
If you need to.
What we found out is that most people take it to their, let's say, target program, CAD program, and just replace our placeholder with something out of the library, which fits perfectly into it.
Yeah. And basically what we get here now, the second floor, and we could continue scanning and capture the next floor, and that's how you also capture basically whole buildings.
Yes. Again, some bullet points, just to mention it right here. If you are interested in getting the PDF version of our presentation here, just drop me a line via email. I'm going to send it to you afterwards. This is why we included all the bullet points now. Good. Next one.
Next one.
Snapshots.
This is your favorite topic.
It is. For those of you who have been scanning already, you might have seen that big white button down to the right, which is called snapshots. And what we saw in all videos before is that you have something in the middle of the screen, which looks like, in this case, yellow, but by default, it is a green aiming cross. And you might have wondered, what is this for? Is this just like to point out where I'm at? No, it's not. Because what we can do, or what you saw, is that we are already able to capture a lot of objects. But there are still small objects or other objects we can't, or the AI can't capture at the moment, which is radiators, which is light switches, which is plugs, which is...
Or let's say more than capture, it cannot automatically recreate them or reconstruct them.
This is the right wording, because what we do is we do have the data, and what we are serving you with is that snapshot function, which is a feature which has so many talents. So basically what we are doing, while scanning, we are pointing with the aiming cross at the object. We want to, what is the right wording here?
We want to locate or mark in our scan.
Let's say we're going to mark it. We're going to mark
this location in the scan.
The right position of a single object, which basically can be everything, which you just will see here. So let's just try to start the scan. We see the green aiming cross. What Luca is doing now, he's aiming for the radiators in the first place. He's aiming in the middle of it, pressing the white snapshot button. And what you see that up to the top, those green cards will be counted, which from where you already now know. Stop.
I misclicked, sorry.
It's going to count those green cards up here. So you already know by now that you pointed for 2 radiators. What we are seeing in the next step here is the other radiators.
We capture more radiators.
Exactly.
Do you want to go back to
No.
the... Okay.
So it's 4 radiators right now. What we are able to do now, which we just saw here, once again, sorry, is that we are able to opening like a color scheme here. what we can do here, we can change colors to already now categorize our elements we want to point out. It is the radiators in green, which you just saw. Now we are changing into yellow for our luminaires.
And this, like, you can create whatever scheme you would like for fitting to your use case. You can use those colors however you like.
Yeah, especially if you, for documentational purposes, say that something is broken. Give it a red marker, send it to your colleague, and then he knows that there's something broken. Switching into the orange color for...
In this case, we mark the electrical components.
Yeah, elements like light switches and plugs. And last but not least, we are snapshotting the plans.
Because this is, for some reason, facility management, it's for interest. It's of our interest, yeah.
Whatever you like. So what we see now is the overview. And this overview is really important because this is the first time in the overview you see the snapshots. Like, what we know is that the yellow ones are for luminaires, the green ones are the radiators, and this is light switches. What we can do from here, we can reopen those snapshots
by tapping on
them, and then we can add notes telling it this is radiator type 22. For example, we are able to type those notes via the keyboard, or even like to speak them into the microphone, like speech, what is it? Voice to text.
Voice to text, yes.
Exactly, down to the right. All those informations will be transferred to the Metaroom Workspace into the reconstructed model afterwards.
So on site, you can add important information in a textual basis.
Exactly.
For example, here you could you can also modify the color of the snapshots afterwards. So here from green to red, because we noticed that this radiator is broken, for example. We can also, here for the smoke detector, we add like its equipment number. You can add any information you like on site very easily, very quickly.
Because this is what we see out there, is that people, even if they scan, they use, or they, back in the days, they still use pen and paper. And you know, I'm left-handed. If I write something down, no one is able to read it.
Not even yourself.
Not even myself. Having done that, we are pretty much done with the snapshots. Even though we are done with snapshots here for now, what we can show you is another AI component later in the workspace, because we are able to reopen those snapshots and recreate objects afterwards.
So you will see where they will become even more useful.
Exactly. Last but not least, edit and upload. There's always the final screen, either if it's a single room like here, or a whole project which you are about to finish and send it to the cloud to be reconstructed. There are some slightly changes which you can do in the last step here. So either if it's removing or changing. No, stop please. We had the question before, why to open doors while scanning. Mm-hmm. So what could happen here is, for example, an open door, as I told you before, is recognized as an opening. Here we have the chance to change an opening to a window or to a door.
What we do here with the switching button.
Exactly.
So we first tap on the object that we want to modify, and then change the type, for example.
Exactly, which is doable for openings like windows, doors. And then we would be able to even delete things we don't need. Let's say the table and the chairs, we don't want them in our project. Then we just delete them and are pretty much done. And we will send the empty room into the reconstruction mode.
One more side note, we can also delete, for example, if we notice that there are walls that have been detected wrongly, or some parts of the geometry that are off, we can also remove them here.
No worries, yeah, exactly. So we are still able to adjust it a little bit from here.
After giving our scan a name, the data will be uploaded to the cloud. So here an internet connection is important again.
Yes, I think there was a question when it comes to, you say scan in flight mode. Does this impact uploading sections to the cloud if there is no Wi-Fi? Does this impact uploading sections? So basically...
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
So in offline, in flight mode, you cannot upload your scan. Exactly. It will remain on the device until you have an internet connection and, very important, the app is opened.
Yes. What you see is that pinkish bar, like which tells you how much of the scan has been uploaded already. And what you see on top in yellow or orange is said upload in progress. Please don't close the app. This is something Apple brings with it. If you close an app, there is no more data transfer back and forth. So always leave the app open if you want to upload things. If you did scan in flight mode, let's say you are on site 30 kilometers away from your office, scan it in flight mode and open the app again when you are in your Wi-Fi in your office, and everything which is in the queue will be uploaded automatically if you open the app.
Exactly. We see here now that the upload for this new scan has been completed. As soon as the message disappears, the data has reached our cloud, and the model is being reconstructed, which we see here with this gray badge. And when the reconstruction is completed, it will change to this green completed state.
Exactly.
And that's the point also bringing us to the next topic, the mobile workspace. So as soon as the scan has been reconstructed, you can interact with it and view it in the Metaroom Workspace.
So what we have here is like the mobile version of our workspace. So if we tap a project
in the app, we will switch over then automatically to the workspace. You will be logged in.
Yes, and the workspace has always been opened in this case in the browser on the cell phone. What you see is the reconstructed 3D model. You can do measurements here, and on top of that, you can export from here.
Exactly. So if you need an instant 2D floor plan, you can use the 2D floor plan export on the device on site as well. So usually the reconstruction for smaller projects takes 1 to 2 minutes,
Yep.
not longer. You get the PDF plan in this case. You can share it using your favorite app, WhatsApp, and so on, or Apple Messages or emails. But you can also look at the plan directly on the device, and look up the measurements or for example show the plan, show the captured space to a customer.
Exactly. So I think we are done with the videos, aren't we? Or is there one more? Yeah. No, we are done. I think
no video, but another important information.
Video, but a lot of important information right now. So basically, we have seen different scenarios right now. There are always edge cases out there. So if you have open questions, always feel free to get in contact with us. You will find like our contacts in the app. You will find our contacts in the workspace. You will find our contacts on our, did I say homepage already? Workspace on the homepage. Feel free to reach out whenever you think you need help. But strength, likes, and calmness. So what we see here is what we basically do while scanning. We have 2 photos here. To give you a hint, it is the exact same corner in our kitchen in our office. The left one has been scanned pretty quick. So
similar to walking into a room, turning around to capture all the walls, and that's it.
Exactly. So what you will get as a result, won't be too good in measurements. On the right-handed side, you see the same corner as I said, but what you see there is a shelf in the corner, a microwave, and way more things. There's way more points in the
also on the geometry, on the walls, on the window, and so on.
Exactly, which leads to way better measurements
and more accurate results. And how did we achieve this? Simply by walking around in the room a little bit, changing perspectives and capturing more of the room.
Yes. So if we say a single room with 10, 15 square meters could be done in 1 minute, yes, it could. But rather
even less, if you like.
Even less, yeah. But rather take 2 minutes to make sure that you get every detail of the most or of all objects, and then you will get a way better result.
Even if you capture a space really in a lot of details, you might even avoid to go there a second time. You will see later in Metaroom Workspace how you can access like all this data that is captured, even afterwards.
Exactly. So last but not least, as we mentioned before, do not cover cameras and LiDAR sensors between sections. Make sure that you hold your device steady into the open room.
Also, if you're doing, for example, the snapshot notes and so on, always try to let the device see the environment, otherwise tracking will be affected.
It is a cell phone, not a tennis racket. Preparation. We haven't been talking too much about that, right?
No,
Um,
that's why we have it here.
Luca missed it, but no. So basically, what we tell people, if you are upfront of scanning, let's say, a room, a whole floor, or even a whole house or an object, make sure that you walk through before. Make sure that all curtains are open, all shadings are opened, because it's the next one. The brighter, the better. The more sunlight you get into the room, the more artificial light you have. Please switch it on. The more light, the better the measurements. Make sure that you walk through an object and make a plan what you want to scan first and where you want to end. It makes always sense and makes life way easier than just start scanning somehow and you have never seen the rooms which are upstairs or whatever, and they are totally dark or whatever. So make sure to be prepared.
Yeah.
Have we had that clean camera?
No, we didn't have it here.
That's like, it's always, we always make fun of it, talking about it. But, every one of us having children at home or are loving to go.
Loving fast food.
Loving fast. I was about to say a special name of the Golden M. Going there, having like fatty fingers, and you touch your camera lens or the LiDAR lens. Make sure that it's cleaned up front the scan. It gives better results, even if it doesn't sound stupid, it makes sense.
Yeah, fun fact, even Apple now in iOS 26, in the camera app, gives you a hint or gives you a notification if they detect that the camera lens is dirty.
But this is only for people who have the newest phones like Luca, all the time.
You just need to update. That's it.
It's iOS. It's not
iOS
about the
26,
okay.
yeah.
Good. This we had a lot of times already, and basically we are done with
the scanning part, basically.
With the scanning part.
Best practices for scanning.
We have 8 minutes left. We are a bit behind schedule, so we are jumping into Workspace right now. So what is it? What is it about when we talk about Workspace? We told you already. That's basically.
The next step in the Metaroom platform. So exactly. After you finish your scan, uploading the data to the cloud, it is available here in the Metaroom Workspace. You can reach it on any device, on any browser, via the metaroom.mrex.ai URL.
Exactly. I just send it into the chat if you want to have a look, because we even have demo rooms there if you would like to explore it a little bit.
After logging in with the same credentials you're using on the app, you can access all your scans or projects here.
Exactly. They're going to end up here. What you see is your recent projects up to the top. So the last ones we scanned, basically. We give a lot of help down here if still needed. But the most interesting tab might be the project tab on the left side. So if we jump in there, what we see or where we end up is basically here. So what we are doing now, we are jumping into the 3D scene directly. And I think we are bad prepared. Did you save it?
Just delete it.
Yeah, I will delete it. Sorry for the bad preparation.
And enable the textures.
It is live. Sorry. So basically what we see here is the reconstructed model. So what you might know or might see again is basically that all the textures have been transferred as well. How is that important for us? It could be important if you miss to do snapshots at one point. But before we jump into the snapshots, we're going to start on the left-hand side.
A little context here as well. So this was a quite small hotel room, which we captured really in 5 minutes.
Yeah, exactly. This is a hotel room in Brussels, if you like to know exactly. So on the left side, what we see here is the hierarchy of the building. So what we see, it is a building. It has the floor 0 because it's only one floor. And if we open that, what we see is that the app already recognized the rooms. If I click a room here, from here I am able to see where the room is located at in the object, and I'm able to rename it, which we already did upfront, which makes sense to rename every room in regards of if you export it into a PDF file or an Excel file, you will always find those rooms because you named them. You can add notes here if you like to. And you can even open the room and see all objects the app captured while scanning. So you can see single walls, right? You can even see the snapshots you attached, and you will find them back in the 3D scene. So quite straightforward, I would say. You can even add name or rename the wall and add nodes to the wall if necessary.
So basically all objects or all elements of this model are associated to specific parts of the model, so in a hierarchical structure.
Exactly. So what we see here is those snapshots again, which we categorized already. It's again the yellow snapshots for luminaires. If we click that snapshot, we see the picture we took here or the snapshot we took on the right side. What you see on top of that is that my mouse cursor changes into a little pen, which indicates that we are not only working in the 2D environment here, we do even add the 3D informations here. So because what we want to do now is we want to bring back the luminaire to life, or at least bring it back into the scenery. So by just clicking the element itself, the AI recognizes that there should be a 3D element behind that.
Yes. You're having the surface mode.
There we go. So what we see is that the AI brings us a box on the exact coordinates where the luminaire is in reality.
What we also can see on top is that we see different perspectives that our solution offers to you on the right side on top that show the same luminaire but from different perspectives.
And this happened, those pictures are being shown totally automatically by AI. So basically we did the snapshot from this angle, but as Lucas said, the AI knows this is the point of interest for us. So it's going to show the same object from different angles. What we can do now, we can enter a name here, like calling it luminaire, whatever it is, and even add an IFC type. In this case, it's a lamp, and we save it to the environment.
So these different perspectives are also like, that's why we said it's important to scan the room from different perspectives, scan the objects from different perspectives. It just gives you more data to work with.
Exactly.
Later.
Which it is super easy to recreate those boxes or even surfaces from snapshots. But what if, let's just take this wall. What we see here, there is 3 objects on the wall and we somehow want to recreate it, but we forgot to add snapshots. But even then, there is a way. By just double-clicking the wall in this case, what will happen then, it will show you all pictures related to this object, this wall in this case, up in the right corner here. So what we see is the toilet. And if we scroll through the photos, we might have a scan frame out of the scan process, which shows us exactly those 3 shampoo bottles, whatever you call it. And we would just want to quickly recreate them, like saving them, the first one, the second one, and the third one.
And what Henrik mentioned, these scan frames are basically the same as a snapshot. So more or less the snapshot is a scan frame, but that has been created by the user. The other scan frames are taken fully automatically while you scan. And we try to like cover the whole environment here, but still keep the data low.
Exactly. Even if you are the one just receiving this file through your Metaroom account, you have not been the one scanning the object because your coworker did. Even then, if you open it in your Metaroom account, what you can do, you could open the scan path. Then you see how your coworker was walking through the room while scanning. You see the arrows down here, so you see which direction he was like walking. And if you hover above those bubbles, you even see in which direction he was looking while scanning. And even here, behind those bubbles, there are single scan frames. So we could recreate everything from here as well.
So the piece of carpet, for example, as a surface. So there are different tools. So you can create boxes, you can create surfaces, or even if you missed a snapshot, if you're using snapshots for your reports, you can basically also create a snapshot.
Exactly.
At some specific point.
Yeah, if you want to add a snapshot because the snapshot is dirty and you want to put it into waste, just hit the snapshot button up here, snapshot it, give it a color, in this case the red one, and save the snapshot, and you will see it appeared down here. So even post documentation would be possible in this case. We are running a bit out of time. Having said that, there is a lot to play with. It is quite intuitive. There is a measurement tool. So let's just jump back. Let me do it.
Yeah.
If we jump back into the wall where we have been before and now that we just recreated those shampoo bottles, we would like to see how far are they away from those from that corner. So we are able to measure by a rule folder, basically just measuring from here to here. What we see, it's 46 centimeters. We can even go into square meters, say 4.3 square meters, and we can have the measurements in total if we want to see them on top of that as well. So why are we doing that? Let's just say you missed snapshots on site, you missed measurements. It is always possible to get all measurements afterwards, and you don't have to go back on site and lose a lot of time and money in this case. Having said that, we are done with the recreation of all objects. We did measure everything. Last step is export mode.
Exactly. You can find this symbol here in the 3D scene for the export button. So we have a lot of different export formats, as we mentioned at the beginning. So ranging from 2D plans, floor plans, 2D DXF files, to 3D models. So for specific CAD programs, for specific use cases like building information modeling. So we have really put a lot of effort in providing the best possible interfaces to different solutions, from energy planning to electrical planning to interior design, carpenter, CAD programs like AutoCAD, for example.
Yes.
So
but still,
lots and lots.
But still, the most underrated export format is the Excel file. You will find all cumulated square meters of walls, of floors, really easy to just copy and paste them into your planning tools. It is a really nice one. On top of that, what you guys were or have been asking for a lot of times is having an export, a snapshot export, which we just made it happen 2 weeks ago, I guess. So what you can do now, you can export a folder with all your snapshots based on the several floors. And it will come with a small floor plan where all snapshots are located in the right position on top of that.
And all the notes you added to them.
Exactly, and all the notes on top of that.
So perfect for documentation.
Yeah. So last but not least, could we just jump back to the project list? Because there is one more interesting thing to know. And this is basically, close it please. It is the share button. We have been asked a lot of times, is it possible to share? Yeah, it is. It is basically shareable in 2 options. You could either share a whole copy with a person who has a Metaroom account himself. If you share a copy via a link, he's going to click, or she is going to click the link, and the question arises if you want to save it to your environment. If you say yes, it's going to be added to your project list, and you have the full model which you can work on. Second one is a public link. Let's say your landlord is asking for the 3D model. Then you just create a public link, sending the link to your landlord. If he opens it, he doesn't need a Metaroom account. He will see the 3D model, is able to turn it around and see it, and basically give feedback on it.
Yes, so for a presentation or to one of your customers, what you did, what your work was, and there's possible to use the public link.
Exactly. That was a fast one.
We overdid it by a few minutes.
We are 5 minutes, 5 minutes over time. Again, I hope we answered the most questions by now. If not, again, as I said, we're gonna review them and send them via email. Last but not least, I have to tell that because I'm a salesperson from top to bottom. What we're gonna change in the next week is our pricing. We had a very welcoming pricing the last 2 years, which we're gonna what is the right way to tell it? We're gonna increase it a little bit. So if you already have been into trial, did everything, it is the right time to book a license right now, because it's gonna get a bit more from next Friday on. Having said,
we had this special early bird and early adopter prices, which are going to change.
Exactly. Having said that, thank you for being with us for the last 1 hour and 5 minutes. I hope we could bring you a lot of information to the Metaroom, or telling you a lot of information to the Metaroom platform. Have a nice afternoon. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Have a good afternoon.